Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope y'all are doing well. I want to talk with you all very quickly about something, and I'm going to talk to women who you are married, you were married to, or perhaps you were never married and you have a child or children with someone, and you realize this man, he's not trying to take care of his children, okay? But then he's with a woman who has children, and it appears that he's taking care of her and her children, but he's not taking care of you. I'm sorry, he's not taking care of his own children, but he's living with another woman and he is helping her with her children. And so you can get into arguments and fights, and a few things I'm going to say is don't get into arguments and fights about that. You can't make a man want to be a father. You can't do that. You can't do anything about his character, his sense of morality. Because what you will find is that there are men who, them taking care of their children or them being responsible solely depends on if they're in a relationship with you. And they act as if you spawned that baby by yourself. Okay? And so they can disconnect, and anyone that can compartmentalize and disconnect from their own seed and their own children, that is very telling about their character. It's very telling about who they are. And you better not even think for a second that you're going to get better from that. And in my opinion, I'm like, you're just going to have to take one for the team. I understand that sometimes there are things that you can do legally. I would not say not to. Do what you need to do, but sometimes you have men who will either lie about their income, or they're going to go out there and they are basically going to quit their job. They are that sorry that they will quit their jobs just so they don't have to pay a certain amount of child support. But I want you to know that when you find that he's living with someone else and he's helping to take care of her children and not his own, a lot of times that man is doing that simply because he can't take care of himself. Some men are like that. They don't have enough to take care of themselves, so they have to move in and live with another woman and her children. And it's not a matter of taking care of herself, but it's not a matter of, oh, I love her, I'm going to take care of her children. There's no way he loves her children more than he loves his own. That's not true. That's not the case. And rest assured that when they break up, he will leave her even faster, because any man that can ignore their children and not take care of them because they're not with you, or do things, ignore certain needs of their children because they're angry at you, that is not a good quality man at all. And he's eventually going to do the same thing to her. And there are some men, they cannot afford to live on their own, so they have to go and move in with another woman and her family. And so he can appear to be doing a whole lot, but a lot of times they're not. They're supplementing one another. She's happy to have him there for different reasons. They're able to piece their income together, or she may make more money, or she's in the same boat as he is. So they're just simply penny pinching together and surviving. It's not that he's being more responsible. He's putting a couple dollars here or there, doing all these different things. But no. These particular type of men, they are living with and depending on that woman. And whatever little bit, a few shillings they bring in, they're able to help to, do some stuff, probably help out with groceries. A lot of times these sort of men, they're not paying anything major. They're helping with groceries. Okay? So that's about, dependent. Okay, that they can contribute, and sometimes they're not even getting all the groceries because they can't afford it. But if anything, all right, I'll pay about $200, $300 a month. That's nothing for him. If he could live in there rent free, buy groceries. That's only going to be $300 a month. That's coming out of his whatever income he's making. Help out here or there. He's doing that to survive. So it has nothing to do with so much of, oh, he cares so much about these children. He needs a place to stay. And then there is another group of men. They are doing well. They have a lot of money. But they're just the kind that feels like, if I'm not with you, I'm not going to do anything for you. Even if it's their children. And they feel like it's a punishment. But as you see, there are plenty of stories and documentaries that we've watched where the single mother raises their son or daughter who becomes something great. And who comes out the woodwork? The missing father. Oh, they want to be there at the graduation or at the ceremony and at all the things that's happening with their child who's now an astronaut, or who have become someone really important in life, even famous. Here comes dad, or here comes mom out the woodwork. The missing parent come out. Because now, see, they left during the raising up time. They thought that they were going to get you by hurting you and doing you wrong. But you managed to raise your babies. And when they get stronger, here come MIA, wanting to be a part of the fruits of your labor. Suddenly, that's my son, that's my daughter. But God sees everything. People are going to stand before God at the end of their life. They're going to reap what they sow. Being missing in the child's upbringing and showing up, putting their hand on their shoulder when the child is achieving some things. And it can be hard as a mother to experience that. But as I said, so then you have the other demographic of men who are they're not going to do anything for you. They want to punish you. They want to make life hard for you. They want you to be in a place that you need to beg them for things. And they're willing to throw their children right in the fire to get back at you. And so when that happens, you always have to look in the mirror, ladies. Look in the mirror. You chose this guy. Because a lot of times, before a baby comes along, and before he starts to show out like that, there were things about him that was already there. No, you probably didn't know that he was going to be the type that dropped his kids. But does he have children that he's not taking care of already? And were there, maybe you didn't see that, but were there things about him? You see, sometimes there'll be little things that you'll notice about them that you ignore. But you shouldn't ignore those things, because a lot of times, okay, let's say you realize a person is dishonest. And you keep trying to be with that person, but you don't realize that dishonesty that keeps peeking out, that's your red flag. Because there's more. Not only is this person dishonest, but this person might be abusive. This person might be so many different things. They're lazy. There are so many things. It's never just one thing, guys. So you look in the mirror. Talk to the person in the mirror. How did you end up with this guy? Because there had to have been things about him. And then examine yourself. Why did you choose him anyway? And deal with that. And when you deal with that, guys, and you're going to be able to heal, cry, whatever. You may feel some shame, but don't stay there. Do better and focus on your children. Because a lot of times, he's not taking care of anybody else's kids like that. Believe me, if he does not have the ethics and the morals to do the things that's right and responsible, he's not a responsible person. He's pretending to be that way with that woman. He's not a responsible person, even if he has a lot of money. He has character issues. He will sacrifice his children just to get you back. And that person overall is a bad individual. Is not somebody that is good at the core. A lot of times also you have to look at other things about them. There were telltale signs. What was it like when you were dating him? If that man cannot fix his car, he can't take his car to get repaired, if he's driving around a big old dent in his car the whole time, and understandably there's some people who want to do the right thing, but sometimes finances can happen. Things can happen with have financial issues and things change. There are times people, just because you're driving a beat up car does not necessarily mean that that man won't become better, because I know I had a car before a long time ago. It was an old Jetta. Whenever it rained, the rain will come in the car somehow. I had to scoop out all the water out the car, and I hope it would start. So different phases and times in your life, you may not be driving the nicest thing. You may not be living in the nicest neighborhood, but you want this person, a man who is trying to constantly make himself better and not being comfortable with that. Okay, I can't fix the dent in my car, but I'm working towards repairing it. I'm putting money aside for that. Not buying everything else and not fixing his vehicle. Not trying to better himself so he can get a better job. So when you find these type of men who they are just content in poverty, they're content with the bare minimum. They don't. So as I was saying, these guys, they're content in poverty. And you're going to be able to pick up on that. They will live at a certain level of just, they're not trying. They'll drive that beat up car. They're not going to fix it. They don't clean it. They don't wash it. They never have any money. They can't do this. They can't do that. They don't have their own place. And so you have to look at that. Because if he can't fix his own car, if he can't afford to do this, if he can't afford to do that, okay, not based on, hey, situations occurred, but I am aiming to do better, but because he's comfortable like that, how is he going to take care of children? Because he's still like in a childlike phase. Children don't have cars. Children can't afford to buy their own things. Children don't have any money. Children depend on other people for stuff because they're children. These type of individuals, even when their children start to work, they depend on the income of their children. So their children can't put their money aside because the parent who have these children who are now coming into their own, they are wanting the children to pay major bills, and the child is only getting $200, probably less than that a week. And will argue their kids down to the husk about it and guilt them. You are not supposed to be dependent on your child's money from Wendy's. Is it good for your child to learn to help out in some way? Yes. But paying the whole cable bill, paying the electric bill, paying rent, and so you take all their money and you still not paying all the rent, you still asking for extensions because you spent that child's money on what you wanted. Come on now. I don't even want to go there. I already did a video about that. That irritates the skin off of me. Parents that's there just living off their children. I understand in different cultures there are things that's different. I'm not talking about that because in some places there's so much poverty and they're so poor that, hey, the kid can't even go to work, can't even go to school. They have to work and everybody's helping each other. But we're talking about a lot in Western society where parents make bad choices in their life and then they have children. And you may have that one child who has great work ethics, just bring some money in, and that parent's just taking their money and cursing out the child and making the child feel bad and threatening to kick them out if they don't give them all. I'm paying this and I'm paying that. No, come on. But let me stop right there. Let me go back to what this is. So these men, guys, Ladies, you have to look at them and you gonna see everything. So if he couldn't afford this, that, he can't afford to take you out. He can't afford to do this. He can't afford to do that. He doesn't have anything. He's at your house. You're going and you're picking him up. You are helping him do this. He's doing the bare minimum. He doesn't want to go to school. He doesn't want to get a job. He doesn't want to or he's consent. Hey, I just want to work here. He's working at some place, barely making any money. Hey, I'm a bouncer at a club. Okay, that's supplemental. Unless you're at some amazing club that's paying you major dollars. A lot of times that's on and off. So they have these jobs. Well, he wants to be a bouncer at the club. He wants to be this because, that's his thing. He's at the club. He's getting to talk to people, whatever. And there are some men that are just happy living, having the bare minimum. They get a cheap apartment if they find one. And everybody has things that you start off with, but these type of men, they find like cheap. They want to like live in a room somewhere. They want to do just the bare minimum, drive a little rat-a-tat-tat car. They're okay with that. They can live off of the bare minimum. They want to live like that. But you want to sleep with him and have a baby. And then when you have the baby, because you feel you have some leverage, you want to demand some things. You can't demand character. You can't conjure up responsibility in a man. You can't conjure up accountability. You can't conjure up a sense of ambition in a man. He has to want that. And so you'll find yourself going through heartache and pain. And somebody who's paying you $2 a month in child support for 2 children, $1 each. You have to learn from that. It's a sad thing when you have to depend on them. You are in a position where you need that check. And if he doesn't give it to you, you're in dire straits. And that's why there's some men that love to deny and not pay because they want you to suffer. They want you and the children. They're so blinded by just anger and just being malicious that they don't care about their children. Again, that goes back to his character. And so ladies, don't put yourself in that position. Don't be trying to get pregnant by these men. If it happens and you have children and they're not doing what they need to do, it's not for you to sit there belly aching and being mad and trying to do the bare minimum. Well, I can braid hair and I can do that. Okay, but you can go to school as well. There are lots of different programs that's out there. You can do something. You can better yourself.